John steered the all-terrain rover along the rough trail. The air was dry and hot. Sand whipped past the windshield in little storms. Engineer Mia sat beside him, checking readings on her tablet. She adjusted a dial and frowned. The desert valley lay at the edge of known space. Most training missions on Earth's frontier worlds were routine. Today felt different. Sensors showed strange energy spikes beneath the sand. Commanders had sent John and Mia to investigate. They were both skilled. John had served 5 years as a Marine sergeant. Mia had built engines on 4 starships. They worked well as a team. Ahead, the canyon walls rose like broken teeth. The rover bounced on the rocky floor. John glanced at Mia. "Ready?" he asked. Mia nodded. "Let's see what's down here." Her voice was calm, but her eyes shone with curiosity. The rover stopped near a wide crack in the sand. John cut the engine. The silence felt strange. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. "This is it," Mia said. She tapped her tablet. "Energy reading spike here." She traced a map with her finger. John grabbed his rifle. He wore desert camo gear and a helmet with a shaded visor. Behind him he heard the faint beep of the rover's life support. He slid out and crouched. The ground was hard, cracked like old paint. He set his boots firmly and scanned the area. "Any sign of life?" Mia asked as she climbed down. "Not yet," John said. He swept the rifle beam over the canyon walls. They walked toward the crack. The ridge walls were steep. Pale sunlight filtered down. Small rocks tumbled now and then as they reached the edge. Mia pointed. "See that?" John looked. Buried in the sand was a curved shape. It looked like a faint outline of a body. "Human?" John asked. Mia crouched. "I don't know. Could be alien technology." She tapped her tablet. "Mass reading matches a living body, low pulse." Her eyes widened. John carefully brushed sand away. With his gloved hand, beneath smooth skin glinted pale blue. The body wore a thin garment of silver fabric. It caught the light. "Alien," Mia whispered. John gently uncovered the face. The woman was beautiful. Her skin had a pale cyan glow. Long hair lay in soft waves on the sand. The color was pale purple. Her breaths were shallow. "Medic kit," John said. He pulled a pack from his belt. He opened it and began working on her. "Her heart rate is low," Mia said. "I'll boost it." She pressed a button on her tablet and unrolled a small medical drone. It hovered near the woman and scanned. The drone's arms glowed as it injected a clear fluid. The woman's chest rose once, then sank again. John pressed a stim pad to her forehead. The rover's life support line hissed as a tube fed from it. For a moment, nothing happened. Then her chest lifted in a deeper breath. Her eyelids fluttered. Mia let out a breath. "She has to hold on," John frowned. "She's weak. We need to get her back to base." He looked at the cracked walls. "Can you intubate her?" "Give me a second." Mia unhooked tubes from the drone and attached a small breathing mask. She taped it around the woman's mouth and nose. She set the oxygen rate. John helped lift the woman onto a stretcher. Her limbs were slim and strong under the tracksuit. He noticed small scars on her arms and legs. What kind of warrior gets wounded so bad? John wondered. They carried her to the rover. John climbed in and helped load the stretcher. Mia climbed in on the other side. John checked her pulse. Steady but weak. He closed the rover door. "Back to camp," Mia said. John started the engine. The rover growled to life. The lights on the dash glowed green for life support. He set the rover on a path back up the trail. Inside, the woman's chest rose and fell. Her purple hair caught in the wind. Her eyes were closed, but her face was serene. Mia studied the tablet. "She's an alien, might be from beyond our charts." John kept his eyes on the trail, but spoke softly. "I know her name." He looked at Mia. She paused. "You know her? I freed her once." John closed his eyes. Memories flooded back. He sighed. "Years ago, on that ashen planet, there was a prison camp. She was a warrior princess, strong and fierce. They held her captive. I led the team that broke in to rescue civilians. I found her in a cell, beaten but defiant. She barely spoke. When I gave Her water, she whispered thanks. Then she told me her name, Kai. She said she would never forget me. Nia listened, and then she disappeared. John nodded. We never saw her ship. She vanished on the wind. He opened his eyes. I thought she was gone forever. Mia looked at the woman. She's awake. She pointed to her eyes. The woman's eyelids moved. She groaned softly. John stroked her hair back. The mask slipped off. The woman's lips moved. John? She whispered. John felt his heart jump. He knelt. Kai? Is that you? She tried to nod. The tubes prevented it. Her voice was weak. You saved. May, I found you again. I never forgot you. John swallowed. You're alive? How did you find me? Kai closed her eyes. She gripped John's hand with surprising strength. I followed the signal. You helped me once. I came back to repay. Her voice faded. The rover jolted over a rock. Kai gasped and slipped unconscious. John's grip tightened. Mia steadied the stretcher. We need faster med-evac. John pressed a come button. Base, this is Echo 2. Request immediate evac for wounded alien subject. Condition critical. Send medical dropship. A crackling voice replied. Roger, Echo 2. Med-evac inbound. Coordinates in 2 minutes. The cum cut. John sat back. The desert wind pressed against the windows. He looked at Kai. Her chest rose and fell. Mia sighed. We'll keep her alive. John stared at the horizon. In his mind he saw Kai's violet eyes looking at him with trust. He wondered what fate had brought her back, and whether he was ready for what came next. John sat in the dropship med bay, watching Kai rest on a narrow bed. Her breathing was steady now, but he sensed her mind drifting. He stayed silent, waiting for her to wake. Outside, the valley sun dipped low, casting long shadows. He thought back to the day he first saw her. It had been 3 years ago on the ashen world of Zoreth. The sky was dark with ash clouds. The wind carried grit that stung the eyes. Humans had set up a militia base near an old mining town. Rumors said the militia held prisoners in a makeshift camp. Civilians and aliens alike suffered there. John led a small team to free the captives. He was a sergeant then, lean and focused. Mia was not with him. She arrived later on the venture. Back then he had only his squad mates, Private Eric, Corporal Lisa, and Tech Specialist Nate. They moved at night under red floodlights that cut through the haze. They found the camp behind a crumbling wall of rock. Guards patrolled the perimeter. John signaled his team to take positions. Lisa and Eric covered the front gate. Nate hacked the locks. John slipped through a gap in the wall. Inside the compound, rows of cells held prisoners. John crept along the corridor, scanning the bars. He heard a low moan. He peered into a cell. Inside, chained to the wall, was a woman with pale cyan skin. Her hair was tied back in a braid, but strands fell loose around her face. She looked at him with tired eyes. John kneeled. I'm here to help, he whispered. His voice echoed in the cell. She swallowed and nodded, shy but defiant. Her chest rose and fell from her struggle to breathe. Blood stained her uniform. She wore an emblem of a falcon wing. Her hands shook as he unlocked the chain. What's your name? He asked. She hesitated. Her throat moved as if she formed words. Then she spoke softly. Kai. Princess Kai of the Philanthropy. People. John paused. He thought of his training. Princes meant royalty. He could not hide his surprise. She straightened. We fought the militia to protect our homes. They captured me when my ship crashed. I have seen worse than this. John unlocked the second chain. Kai rubbed her wrists. She tested her legs, wincing from pain. Stay low, John said. We will get you out. He led her down the corridor. Guards shouted as Eric and Lisa engaged them. Nate jammed more cameras. They reached a broken wall. John tossed a grenade. The blast blew a hole. Dust filled the air. He helped Kai through. She stumbled but caught his arm. Outside, the ash wind blew. Team members lay injured and dead. John felt the weight of loss. He guided Kai to a transport shuttle. As they lifted off, Kai looked down. The camp burned behind them. She turned to John. Tears mixed with ash on her cheeks. Thank you. she whispered. You saved me. I owe you my life. John nodded. Stay safe, Kai. You will be free soon. She clutched his hand before the doors closed. He watched her disappear, then turned to help other survivors. Kai's ship had malfunctioned. Her people lived on scattered worlds. She said she would return once she fixed her ship. She gave John a small crystal disc. This will find me, she said. If you ever need help, activate it. He took the disc. It glowed with pale blue light. He frowned. What kind of gift was this? But he tucked it away in his pocket. Months passed. John finished his tour and returned to human space. He kept the disc locked in his quarters. He thought of Kai sometimes, a distant memory. Back in the med bay, John blinked away the memory. Kai stirred. He kneeled by her bed. She opened her eyes. Her violet gaze met his. She looked around, confused. Where am I? She whispered. John smiled gently. You're safe. You are on the desert world camp. You're back with humans. Kai's eyes widened. She tried to sit up, but John placed a hand on her shoulder. Easy, he said. Take your time. Mia and the medic team are here. He pointed to the door. Mia entered with a tray of water and data pads. Kai reached for the water. John watched as she drank slowly. She set the cup down and touched her throat. Mia handed her a pad. This shows your vitals adapting to human gravity and oxygen mix. You will improve with care. Her tone was calm. Kai looked at the pad, then she studied John. I remember this. Ship, I remember you. She touched his arm. John nodded. You were hurt. We brought you here. You lost a lot of blood. Kai pressed her hand to her head. My mind is foggy. I need time. She closed her eyes. John sat on the bed edge. Kai, why did you return? She inhaled and exhaled slowly. I found the disc you gave me. It glowed in the dark. It led me across systems. I tracked you to this desert valley. Her voice was soft. John's heart thudded. You risked everything to find me? Kai opened her eyes. You saved my life? I never forgot you, John. Now I repay your kindness. She paused. But I need your help. My people face a threat. I could not fight alone. John felt a mix of pride and worry. He thought of his duty. We will help you, Kai. But you must trust. Yes, there are those who fear your kind. He tapped his temple. You may not remember all details, but together we can face this. His voice was firm. Kai nodded. Her eyes glowed with resolve. I trust you. John stood and looked at the door. I'll get Mia. We need to plan our next move. He left the bay, closing the door quietly. Kai lay back and stared at the ceiling. She felt hope for the first time in months. She had found John, and she would stand by him once more. Soon, they would face the past together and build a future where humans and philanthropy stood as allies. The starship Venturi loomed in the desert sky. Its silver hull glinted as the dropship approached. John and Mia rode in the cargo bay, Kai on a stretcher between them. Guards stood at the ramp, watching the wounded alien with suspicion. John carried Kai inside, careful not to jostle her. Inside the ship, sterile corridors stretched ahead. White walls and soft lights made the place feel calm. Medical staff wheeled Kai to a recovery ward. John and Mia followed at a distance. Other Marines stood near the entrance, whispering among themselves. Captain Reese met them by the ward door. Her uniform was neat. Her eyes were hard. Sergeant John, I expected better intel on your passenger. John saluted. She was wounded. Sensors only showed life signs. We found her in the sand, Reese frowned. An alien warrior princess, they say. This is military space. We do not welcome unknown species without clearance. Mia stepped forward. She saved my life today. She alerted us to a rockfall. Reese's gaze shifted to Kai's room. Through the glass pane, Kai lay quiet. Her chest rose under a thin sheet. John placed a hand on Reese's arm. Give her a chance. She came for me. She said she never forgot me. Reese tightened her jaw. We cannot ignore protocol. John nodded. I understand. But she's our only link to a powerful ally. She may have a gift for us. Please authorize her transfer to the brig bay until she recovers. Reese hesitated. Then nodded once. Fine, brig bay guarded, no visitors. John exhaled. Thank you. He turned and walked away with Mia. Outside, they met Corporal Kim and Private Lopez. Both looked uneasy. Kim said, Sergeant, this feels wrong. An unarmed warrior. She did not attack us. Lopez added, We could use more allies. Why lock her up? John shook his head. I don't like it either, but orders are orders. He put a hand on Lopez's shoulder. Just keep an eye on her. Mia studied a mini display on her wrist. I'm monitoring her vitals. She should recover fully in hours. Then we can move her, John nodded, then paused. I need to check on her gift. Did you find the disc I gave her? Mia tapped her pad. Yes, it glowed when we brought her aboard. It's stowed in the secure locker. John's eyes narrowed. Keep it close. No one must steal it. Hours passed. The ship cruised toward the orbital station above the frontier world. Alarms sounded as a gentle tremor shook the corridor. Lights flickered. John and Mia spun. Dust fell. From the vents beyond they heard a rumble. Earthquake? Mia whispered. John grabbed her arm. Follow me. They ran toward the ward area. The walls bent and cracked. A section collapsed, blocking the hall. They saw rock shards and spark arcs from broken pipes. We need to reach the brig bay. John shouted. Mia nodded, shielding her eyes as debris fell. They dashed through shaking corridors. Around a corner, they found Kai sitting up against a wall. She looked at them with calm violet eyes despite the chaos. Rubble pressed against her stretcher. Sergeant John? She called, her voice weak but firm. Help me, John rushed forward. Hold still. Robomedic drones hovered nearby. They malfunctioned in the tremor and spun wildly. Sparks flew. Mia tried to shut them down, but a drone's arm lashed out, sending a beam that cut a hole in the floor. A chunk of metal crashed toward Kai. John dove and pushed the stretcher. The rock fragment struck the floor where Kai had lain. She gasped but remained safe. He lifted her straps and helped her stand. His muscles strained as he supported her weight. Debris rattled overhead. Can you walk? John asked. Kai nodded. Her strength returned quickly. She stepped forward, guided by John. Her alien legs moved with grace. Within the quake's roar, they reached an open bay. Marines and crew scrambled. 2 large crates blocked the exit ramp. Move them, John ordered. He looked at Kai. Can you help? Kai's eyes glowed. She placed her hand on the crate nearest her. A faint energy pulse glowed from her palm. The crate slid back, as if lifted by an unseen force. John's jaw dropped. He grabbed a smaller crate and pushed. Together they cleared the path. Hurry, Mia cried. They reached the ramp. The tremor subsided. The ship steadied. Outside, the sky was calm. The station's lights blinked. Soldiers on the platform stared. A lieutenant ran toward them. Thank you, he said. We lost power in that section. Your passenger's energy reading saved lives? John nodded, breathing hard. She's more than a prisoner. She's a warrior. The lieutenant saluted and left. John turned to Kai. Thank you, he said softly. You saved us. Kai bowed her head. I repay your kindness. Mia tapped her pad. Security wants to move her to the brig bay now that she's conscious. John looked at Reese's orders. He sighed. We have to live with it. But at least they see her as an ally now? Kai touched John's arm. I will earn their trust, John smiled. I know you will. As they rowed the dropship to the brig bay, John felt the tension ease. An uneasy alliance formed in the quake's dust. He and Kai would face new challenges ahead together. The starship Venture drifted through the void. Its engines hummed with steady power. John stood on the bridge with Kai and Mia. They studied a holomap of the frontier. A small red blip marked their destination, a supply station at orbital Gamma. John tapped the map. We refuel there and resume course to Outpost Theta. He looked at Kai. How are you feeling? Kai flexed her fingers. Her pale cyan skin glowed under the bridge lights. My strength returns. The gravity here is lighter than my world. I adapt quickly. She gave a small smile. Mia examined her tablet. Vitals are good. The crew respects your recovery. They saw what you did in the quake. Kai nodded. I am grateful. She paused. But I sense danger ahead, John frowned. Explain? Kai closed her eyes and inhaled. My senses react to hostility. I smell betrayal in the air. John exchanged a look with Mia. Mia tapped her cum. Security, any signs of unrest? An officer's voice came back. None on record? The officer sounded puzzled. John lowered his voice. Keep watch, Kai. Trust your instincts. Kai bowed her head. She placed a hand over her heart. Meanwhile, below decks, Lieutenant Adams sneered at Kai's gifts. A decorated officer, Adams envied. The honor Kai received. He eyed her crystal disc stored in the secure locker. His jaw clenched. If he could steal it, he might gain power. He left the deck and strode toward engineering. The engine room was quiet. Technicians worked on maintenance. Adams nodded politely. Then he slipped to a console hidden behind pipes. He tapped commands. Plasma conduits hummed. Slowly, one thruster gave less output. A fault warning appeared on the bridge. Back on the bridge, alarms chimed softly. The ship listed. John grabbed the console. Propulsion link 1 failing, he announced. Captain Reese looked up. Engineers, diagnose now. An engineer whispered into. Come, detecting interference in the plasma couplings. It is deliberate, Reese turned to John. Sergeant, could this be sabotage? John's eyes narrowed. It feels like it. Someone here wants us stranded, Reese ordered security teams. Sweep the ship, find the culprit. John motioned to Mia and Kai. We need to help. Kai, can you sense who did this? Kai closed her eyes. Her violet gaze focused inward. After a moment, she pointed. There, Lieutenant Adams. His aura is dark with envy. John nodded. Reese, I have. A lead. Adams should be questioned. Reese hesitated. Then nodded. Bring him to the bridge. She tapped her cum. Security. Detain Lieutenant Adams and bring him here immediately. Moments later, Adams stood on the bridge, hands held at his sides. His uniform was neat, but his face was pale. Reese addressed him. Lieutenant Adams, you are accused of sabotaging our thruster. You have the right to explain. Adams laughed nervously. This is absurd. I would never harm the ship. I serve this crew. John stepped forward. An engineer found your code override. You hid it behind false logs? Adams's smile froze. You can't prove that. Kai approached. She held out the crystal disc. It glowed softly. This disc reacts to truth. Your lies show as shadows. She passed the disc near Adams's throat. It flickered red and back to blue. Adams paled and gulped. This is some trick. Kai's voice was calm. Your envy drove you. You think an alien gift makes her more valued? You threatened us all? Adams's shoulders slumped. He glanced at Reese. I was frustrated. She took the crew's respect. I wanted to show my worth. I did not mean to hurt anyone. Reese held him by the arm. You endangered lives for pride. You stand under arrest. Security moved in and led Adams away. The bridge crew exhaled. John turned to Kai. Thank you. You saved the ship. Double quote. Kai bowed. I protect those who show me kindness. Mia accessed the ship's systems. I can reroute power around the damaged thruster. We'll be back at full speed in 10 minutes. John smiled. Good work. With the sabotage exposed, the crew's mood lightened. Engineers worked confidently. The ship regained stability. Later, in the mess hall, John, Mia, and Kai sat together. The room buzzed with quiet talk. Soldiers glanced at Kai with respect. John raised a tin cup. To Kai, our warrior princess, may we share many victories. Mia and Kai touched their cups to John's. Kai smiled and drank. She looked around, seeing humans and aliens mingling, a small but bright symbol of hope. After the meal, Kai stepped to a private table. She unhooked the crystal disc from a chain. She laid it flat and held a datapad over it. Blue lines mapped out a star system. An ancient planet lay marked with a symbol. Kai's voice was quiet. This map points to the weapon of my ancestors, the Philanthropy pacifier. It can heal or harm. John sat down, a powerful tool but dangerous if misused. Kai nodded. We must reach it before my enemies. Mia leaned forward. Where is it? Kai tapped the pad. On Moon Zeros beyond the outer rim. It sleeps beneath the surface. Think of it like a seed waiting to bloom. John drew a breath. Then we chart a course. We'll bring this weapon home to end the war. Kai looked at him. Her violet eyes burned. With hope, together, John smiled. Together. In that moment their bond deepened. Betrayal had tested them, and trust had won. Now they set their course for the hidden weapon, united by purpose and by fate. The dropship hummed as it descended toward the moon zeros. Its surface was gray and lifeless. Jagged peaks rose from cracks in the crust. John watched from the viewport while Kai and Mia prepared their gear. This moon was once home to my people, Kai said. Her voice was soft. The pacifier lies beneath these ruins. It was buried to protect it from enemies. John tightened his gloves. We stick together, no surprises. Mia loaded extra power cells into her pack. I'll handle shields and lights, let's move. After landing, they climbed into the rocky terrain. MOA drones followed, scanning for threats. The sky was black, stars glittering above. Kai led the way using her map crystal. She held it up, a pale blue glow traced a path on the ground. They followed cautiously. Watch the ground, John said. His rifle was ready. There could be traps, Kai nodded. Her pale cyan skin blended with the moonlight. Her eyes glowed faintly. They reached an old gateway buried in shattered stone. Moss-like lichen clung to the edges. Symbols of wings and stars were carved around the arch. This is it, Kai whispered. She placed a hand on the stone. Her energy pulsed, revealing hidden lines. John studied the carvings. Ancient tech. The lines. Shimmer when activated. Mia scanned with her handheld. The lines conduct energy. Don't touch them until we know how. Kai traced a pattern with her finger. Suddenly the ground trembled. A section of rock slid away, revealing steps leading deep underground. Careful, John said. He pointed to the sides. Pressure plates. He ducked and hovered his hand over a panel. It glowed red. He tapped it with a stick, and it turned blue. Good call, Mia said. She tapped her tablet. I'll mark safe paths. She linked her pad to the map crystal, and safe tiles glowed green. They moved down the stairs. Torches of bioluminescent fungus lit the way in soft blue. This fungus reacts to Kai's energy, John observed. Only lights where we go. Kai smiled. We are welcome here. The corridor opened into a hall. High ceilings arched above. Pillars lined the sides, each carved with scenes of philanthropy people using the pacifier to heal worlds. At the end, a door of metal stood. Runes glowed dimly. John approached. It's locked by an energy barrier, Mia said. She raised her tablet. I can disable it, but I need Kai's help. Kai stepped forward and placed both hands on the runes. Her energy flowed into the barrier. It hummed, then went dark. With a hiss, the door slid open. A shaft of light revealed the chamber beyond. Inside, a pedestal held a device shaped like a flower bud. Its petals were metal and crystal. It pulsed with pale blue light. The pacifier, Kai whispered. John stepped in and circled the pedestal. What does it do? Kai touched a petal. It opened slightly. A warm glow spread. A distant planet on the holomap glowed green. Healing pulse, Kai said. It can seal wounds in atmospheres, restore life. John nodded. But our enemies will want the destruction mode. Kai's face darkened. Yes. They can turn it into a weapon. We must secure it now. Suddenly alarms rang in their ears. Red lights flashed from outside. John raised his rifle. Intruders, Mia said. Hull breach near the landing zone. Her voice trembled. John ran to the door and peered out. Human soldiers in black armor poured in. Their weapons glinted. Philanthropy hunter cores, Kai said. They track my people. They want this device. John stepped in front of Kai. We hold them here. Mia, cover us. Soldiers advanced. They fired stun rounds at the barrier. Sparks flew. Mia raised a shield projector. A dome of light deflected the blasts. John fired back, aiming to disable but not kill. Soldiers fell, convulsing on the floor. Kai moved beside him. She pressed her hand to the pacifier. Energy coursed through the petals. The device glowed brighter. I will use a pulse to slow them, Kai said. She closed her eyes and focused. A wave of energy radiated from the device. Soldiers froze mid-step, then collapsed silently. The room was still. John checked his rifle. They're out cold? Non-lethal? Good, Kai exhaled. The pacifier obeys my will. Now we must remove it. She carefully lifted the device. It felt light and warm in her hands. The petals closed around her fingers, protecting her. John watched the entrance. Any more coming? Mia scanned her pad. All intruders down. Landing zone clear. Kai turned. We should go now. Hold this tight. She handed the pacifier to John. He held it gently. Light pulsed through his palm. Take it to the ship, Kai said. I will cover you. She raised her energy blade and moved to the door. Outside the hall, shadowy figures moved in the corridor. Kai met them with fierce grace. She deflected blasts and disarmed attackers without harm. John and Mia followed her through winding halls. Traps triggered behind them, walls closing, floors shifting. Kai's energy cleared the way. Finally, they burst out into the open. Dust choked the air. The crater where the dropship waited was silent. Hurry, John shouted. Load it up? They raced to the landing pad. The MOA drones projected shields around the ship. Kai leaped aboard and sealed the ramp. The dropship rose. As John carried the pacifier to the hold. Mia strapped the device in a protective casing. It's secure, John joined Kai in the cockpit. Her hands hovered over the controls. Set course for the venture, she said. The dropship lifted higher, leaving zeros behind. John gazed at the fading moon. We got it, he said. Kai nodded. We have the pacifier. Now we must decide how to use it. Her voice was steady. John placed a hand on her shoulder. We protect it until leaders from both sides agree. Then we bring healing, not destruction. Kai looked at him and smiled. You always find the right path, John. As stars blurred past, their bond grew stronger. Together they carried the fate of worlds and hope for peace. The starship Venture slid into orbit around the rebel stronghold. Pale light from the planet's sun stretched across the hull. John stood at the viewport with Kai and Mia. The hidden weapon rested in a secure case at their feet. This is it, John said softly. We deliver the pacifier to those who need it most. Kai nodded, her pale blue skin glowing under the dim lights. I must speak with both leaders. They will decide how to use it for peace. Mia checked her tablet. We have clearance. For a safe landing at the council docks, security teams await. John placed a hand on Kai's shoulder. Are you ready? Kai inhaled and exhaled slowly. I have waited many cycles for this. I stand with you. The dropship descended toward the council docks. Ships of all shapes and flags filled the spaceport. Aliens and humans bustled on the ground. Below, on the platform, soldiers in crisp uniforms saluted as the landing ramp lowered. A tall human general stepped forward beside an alien envoy with pale purple skin. Both wore ceremonial robes. General Hart spoke first. His voice was firm but respectful. Sergeant John, Princess Kai, welcome. We are ready to receive the pacifier, Envoy Lara bowed. Her eyes shone with cautious hope. Thank you for coming. We pray this day brings peace. John and Kai stepped onto the platform. Guards formed a corridor. John carried the secure case with care. Kai followed, her posture proud. They reached the pedestal at the center of the hall. Hart and Lara stood on either side. Kai set the case down and knelt, unfastening the locks. Curious faces watched in silence. Cameras hovered overhead. Kai lifted the top. Inside, the pacifier glowed softly. Its petals were closed. Kai spoke to the gathered crowd. This device holds the power to heal or harm. It must be in the hands of those who seek peace. Lara stepped forward. Princess, will you demonstrate its power? Kai placed her hand on the device. A pale pulse of energy shimmered across the room. Where dust stirred, small plants sprouted from cracks in the floor. A flower bloomed, petals of cyan and purple shining bright. A murmur of wonder rose. Hart's stern face softened. John felt hope ripple through him. Kai opened the petals wider. A beam of pure light shot upward, passing through the ship's domed ceiling and into space. For a moment, all felt calm, but then a voice boomed through the speakers. "This is a violation! You cannot wield such power without the Council's full sanction." A faction leader's face appeared on the large holoscreen. He wore dark robes and sneered. Hatreds flared. Humans and aliens shouted accusations. Soldiers pointed weapons at each other. John stepped forward. "Enough, this device can unite us. It is not a weapon to force peace, but a tool of healing. We must listen." He raised his hands. Hart nodded. "Sergeant John is right. Let calm talk prevail." Envoy Lara raised her voice. "We will vote by council rule, all voices heard." She pointed to two pedestals, one for healing, one for containment. Kai gently lifted the pacifier. It hovered above her palm. She closed her eyes. "Let its light guide your hearts." She placed it on the voting podium. Representatives stepped forward. Each touched the device and voiced their intent. Heal war-torn lands, protect worlds from harm, or contain the device until trust formed. Votes cast, the pacifier glowed brighter. Then it projected a circle of light above the podium, displaying words in many languages. "Peace through unity." Silence followed. Hart spoke. "The Council has spoken. We use this device to restore worlds ravaged by war. Destruction will be forbidden." "Envoy," Lara added, "we form a joint task force of humans and aliens to oversee its use and protect it from those who seek harm." A cheer rose from the crowd. Soldiers lowered their weapons. Diplomats embraced. John looked at Kai. Her violet eyes filled with relief. Kai smiled. "This is the promise I made to you, John. To bring hope." She paused, then turned to him. "And to repay your kindness." She lifted the pacifier, then set it aside. She knelt before John. "You saved me and you stood by me. Will you accept my pledge?" John knelt too. "I accept. We forged this new era together." Kai placed her hand over his. A gentle glow spread where they touched. Around them, humans and aliens celebrated. Music rose and lights sparkled across the docks. In that moment, John and Kai stood united by duty and by bond. The hidden weapon became a beacon of hope. And as the stars shone above, they walked forward side by side, ready to guide two worlds toward peace.